The polls for Pennsylvania's primary election open tomorrow, and this is a very timely time to have this discussion because we all know that politics can often divide people instead of bringing them together.
Right. That's why Jennifer Eisenreich of Shift Show Communication is here to give us some tips to help us navigate social interactions and social media during election season. I always say politics, it's just so polarizing, especially when you're seeing messages come across social media.
And it's really the messages. People deliver their messages in a way that is so polarizing, but the truth is we're a lot closer than people think.
Well, there are some big issues going on right now, which I think can add a lot of fuel to the fire because people feel very passionately about what's happening our current state.
Sure. And the problem is that the way that we discuss things can really not just be polarizing, but it can be damaging to relationships.
Right.
1 in 5 Americans say that a significant relationship has been hurt because of politics. So we have a choice when we go in to discuss. It's either build bridges or burn bridges. So you have to think about that before you go in.
Yeah, I think about it this way. I've never seen one message on social media that someone has posted that has necessarily changed my mind about something. And I feel most people, they're pretty convinced about what they feel. So there's no need to be rude or be a jerk about it. It's just
lines have pretty much been drawn. And you're right, 0% of people rethink because they see a rude bumper sticker like, I think I'll vote for that person now because a bumper sticker gets a bumper sticker. Yeah.
So you mentioned pre-gaming before elections. How do we do that? What does that mean?
Well, it's coming up with a plan on what you will and won't discuss with people. And that's important in the workplace too. Just deciding these are our boundaries. We're really not going to talk about it because we know we have people on different sides. And again, it's deciding when I do talk about politics, I'm going to build bridges and go in to understand people instead of burn bridges and tear them down.
Yeah, and you say that there are political potholes that we can avoid stepping into. How do you do that?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, try to focus on being kind and respectful. And that's every day anyway, but for some reason we need to be reminded of that consistently. So being kind and respectful when you have those decisions. And there are some great resources for people who are tired of arguing. There is one site called More in Common, and they actually have a quiz about perception gaps. And a perception gap is thinking that you feel one way and other people feel differently when actually you feel a lot more similar. So if you Google perception gap quiz, you can go on and say how you feel about some of the big ticket items, and you'll see there's between a 50 and 90% chance that people from the other party feel the same way you do.
Wow.
Yeah.
So like you said, there are a lot more similarities.
Absolutely.
With an election year, and a big one at that, a presidential election year, this is a really important time to also engage our kids in learning about the process.
Sure.
And teaching them a little bit of the history. How do we do that without also bringing in any of the nasty side effects or also our own biases to it?
Yeah, the first thing is remembering to model kindness and gratitude and respect for everyone, and teaching your kids that different is just different. It's not wrong. People may look different, they may sound different, they may have a different opinion. It's just different, and that's okay. You also want to remind your kids that there's going to be someone who doesn't win, because kids have a hard time losing, and so they have to be ready to face that and face that disappointment if they have somebody who they're pulling for.
Yeah, and it's also about just teaching them about the basics, not necessarily about picking sides, but just how things work.
Sure, it's the process. If you focus on the process more than the people, you'll be safe with your kids. Also, there are some issues that they'll hear about, and they may be scared because they don't understand the word, or it's a word that's scary for them. So make it comfortable for them to ask questions and then explain things in a way that they know that they're safe, and it's okay that it's being discussed, that they're okay and safe at that moment.
All right, we're going to do something a little unique. We're doing what's in and what's out this election season.
Yes, I know. Pittsburgh Talks, we like a good, we like a good in and out list. Okay, so for our election season, which is, it's not just at the primaries tomorrow, this will go on for at least 7 months, and if history is any indication, a lot longer. So here's what's in. Thoughtful questions. Out is knee-jerk responses.
Oh, thank goodness.
It's in to refer things as different. It is out to refer to them as wrong.
Right.
We want to be understood and seek to be understood instead of trying to convince people to agree with you. Because like you said, people aren't changing their mind really at this point. In is being curious. Out is being judgy. In is I statements about how you feel. Out are you statements talking about how you are doing things and how your party is
Right.
doing
This is
things.
how I feel. These are my feelings.
Yeah, so
my
much
beliefs.
less threatening to
Right,
other people.
right.
In is talking about the process. Out is talking about the people, because we all know where we are anyway. In is talking about what we have in common, and out is how we are opposite. There's so much polarization. We need to come together. It's so important. It's such a good opportunity for us, and we need to be able to do that. In is teaching kids to respect differences. Out is demonstrating how to be a yak mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know yak mouths. They're
Oh,
people
yeah.
who just talk and
Yeah.
they're not really saying anything. Their opinions aren't really based on any facts. They just continue to yak on.
Yeah.
So being a yak mouth is out. And lastly, in is voting, out complaining.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that
Do it.
too. Yeah.
This is really great stuff.
It is good stuff. And I just want to make a point that I know people, when you were talking about like how people can lose friendships over this. I mean, I know families who have broken apart because they have different political beliefs. So
As we
this
wrap
is
up, Jennifer,
serious.
we really want to ask you too about Shift Show communication. What else do you do at Shift Show?
Well, in addition to keynote speaking, I help educational and business leaders tackle their big, scary issues in a way that allows their people to still continue to love their job.
That's great.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah. All right. Well, to learn more about Shift Show communication or the resources Jennifer mentioned, you can head to our website, kdka.com/talkpittsburgh for more information.
And